Right, I'm sure by now you've seen countless people go over the Switch 2 Nintendo Direct and kind of give their thoughts on it, but there's one part I want to address. Now, there's obviously a lot going on, but I've seen so many people moaning about the £80 price tag for Mario Kart. I know it's steep, but why are you surprised? Now, I do not like Nintendo as a company. I value a lot of their consoles and a lot of their games, but as a company, I am not a fan of Nintendo. But this is not a ridiculous situation. Games for pretty much 30, 40 years at this point have been £60 a game. That's been the baseline. That's what you paid. And in that time, inflation has happened. Now, I'm not a fan of the fact that, games are losing manuals and they're getting slimmer and you're getting less and less content for your money. But inflation's a thing, and let's be honest, I know there's going to be a pass for Mario Kart, but it's still just going to be Mario Kart. You're not going to be losing a lot of content just because it's a new generation. You're paying a reasonable price here. Now, do I believe that this game's going to be good enough to warrant £80? No. I don't think there are many games that do warrant an £80 price tag. But if you're buying a brand new AAA release in 2025, yes, you're going to be paying £80. Now, realistically speaking, I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to buy a Switch 2. I'm not a fan of Nintendo's newer consoles. I don't see the value in a Switch compared to a Series X or a PS5 at this point. But that's just burnout from Nintendo's IPs. The console's not bad in itself. As much as I do believe that paying £450, which is what was announced, for what is last-gen hardware is just ridiculous. Nintendo for years have been the only company making a profit on their console sales. Microsoft and Sony lose money when they sell you a console because they know you're going to buy games. That's the reason they sell these consoles at discount prices. So I've got a lot less sympathy for Nintendo when it comes to the backlash for this, when they're actively charging more money just because they can get away with it. And I get it, I do get it, but it's not like they're going to start losing tons of money if they sold these consoles at a reasonable price. Especially when most of the games that have been announced for it so far are last-gen games. Sure, there's Mario Kart, which you can't get anywhere else, but there's also stuff like Borderlands 4, which was announced, which is going to launch everywhere. Stuff like Elden Ring, which already has launched on last-gen hardware. So if you're not overly excited about their new releases, the Nintendo IPs, and you're that desperate to play these kind of games, just buy a second-hand Xbox One or PS4 for like 50 quid. Don't spend £450 on a brand new console. But that being said, Nintendo's £80 price tag is perfectly fair, and as much as I'd like to see companies sticking to £60, I understand the logic that it's just not feasibly possible at this point. Especially with more and more games being played through subscription-based services where the companies just don't get to take that £60 price tag. I realise they've got deals with the publishers, but still. Anyway, with that being said, we're on the road to 500 followers now, which is insane, so drop us a follow, and I will see you in the next one.